Country star John Rich just sang the praises of Carrie Underwood for performing America the Beautiful at Trump's inauguration ceremony. And at the same time, he used this opportunity to call out a lot of people in the country music industry who have remained decidedly silent about their support for Trump and their politics in general. There are a lot of ways that we can pick this apart. I find it interesting because so many people on the right say if you're an entertainer, you should just stay quiet about politics. We don't care about your political takes at all. But there are others on the right who say that you have a responsibility to speak out about your political views if you're a Trump supporter, especially in this day and age now that the stakes are lower, given that he's already won. So I want to watch his video that he posted on X. Okay. And we're going to give our reactions. He's also tagged Brad Paisley and Garth Brooks in this post.
There's a 20 there before we get started.
From Just 'Cause I'm Free. Greetings from South Louisiana, where we have found your weather down here. Please come take it back. We don't want your foot of snow, or you can send booze. Either will do.
Yeah, Valiant Renegade, who I mentioned earlier, he was outside taking video of the snow.
The polar vortex has reached Louisiana. That's terrifying.
All right, so
John Rich said, hey, big-time conservative country artists, it's time to grow a pair.
All right, let's listen to this video.
A post calling out conservative country artists that have yet to come forward and support President Trump, and that was built off the fact that Carrie Underwood has agreed to sing America the Beautiful at the inauguration, which I think is an incredible thing, and her statement actually was absolutely beautiful, that we want to bring people together and we want to move into this next 4 years and succeed as a nation. I mean, incredible. I'm a bigger fan than I ever was of Carrie Underwood after seeing her do that. But it got me thinking about country artists
that always makes me weird. Not for him, but for me. Like, I don't want to this goes mostly for actors, but I don't want to like someone's art and then find that somehow I end up liking it more because they tend to have views that I agree with. Like, that makes me feel gross.
But that's a good instinct to have so that you can still judge it objectively.
The point for me is, like, I would rather not know any of it, but in general, I can set it aside, but I don't want to have to think about how, this art was okay, but now that I know that this guy agrees with me, maybe it was better than okay.
Post Malone's new song was okay, but since I know that he's super into guns and the Second Amendment, I'm going to listen to it on repeat. That does seem disingenuous just to yourself. Like, you need to have integrity with yourself and what your tastes actually are.
Yep. All right.
I know for a fact are real conservatives and support Trump that have yet to be heard from. And I started to compare.
Why do they have to be heard from?
Well, I mean, theoretically, it would make more of a difference if you said something and spoke out about your support for Trump before the election.
But not everybody cares. You can support a politician and just not care enough to speak, is all I'm saying.
I guess what he's saying is that they should care more about making a difference than they care about mitigating risks for their own public perception.
All right. Again, I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying that I think that this take here is his approach is very single-minded and it's worked well for him, and that's great. But not everybody's going to have the same approach to their career.
It also is just ironic seeing the background of his video. He's filming this in his mansion with all of his awards.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel like they don't have the same security to speak out.
Yeah.
As they say.
Compare that to some of the artists in country music who have supported the other side. And I started wondering, well, why is it that Garth Brooks has enough conviction about Joe Biden, for instance, that he would sing at Joe Biden's inauguration, that he would walk up and give Hillary Clinton a big old bear hug.
I can actually answer that question for him, which is that principled conservatives tend to be the ones who say, "Oh, I will like you no matter what." They can agree to disagree. So they can listen to his music and disregard the fact that they agree with him, that they disagree with him politically. When you do
True.
it the other direction, it is not usually the case where, look, they were like, some guy yesterday was like, I just deleted my entire Snoop Dogg discography because he played at the crypto ball.
Yeah.
So
Can you imagine
like,
being that guy?
It's like, look,
You're like
I love the song "Murder Was the Case," but now I can't listen to it because he played with Rick Ross at the crypto ball.
The crypto ball. It's
Stand out
so
there
funny.
and sing. Why is it that Brad Paisley will come to Nashville with Jill Biden and set up a COVID vaccine site and tell everybody to do their patriotic duty and show up and get your COVID vaccine, and I'll play you some music, and the first lady is here, and come on down in here to Nashville. I mean, I don't agree with those guys, but at least they had enough conviction to step forward and make those moves. Brad was all about the vaccines with Jill. Garth was all about Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and everybody else. So where are the big time A-listers that are conservative in country music? Where are they? Now, Aldine.
What do you think the answer to that? Do you think it's just that they maybe like they just don't care about talking about politics, or do you think it's about fear of what would happen if they spoke out? Look, he's not wrong. Carrie Underwood got a lot of blowback from people who were already fans of hers, saying that now suddenly they're not fans of hers. One of the hardest things that I imagine it is for the artists here is like they have to kind of willingly allow themselves to then fall back into the arms of the conservative movement and hope that they're going to continue to buy their product for the foreseeable future.
Well, the more commercial success you have, the wider of an appeal you have to maintain. For Carrie Underwood, that's certainly true, and that's why I saw so many women specifically in her comments saying that they were heartbroken over her decision and that they had no idea she was a Trumpy or whatever. There is a very small sliver of people that are going to even say that, let alone act on their heartbreak over your political takes.
Yeah.
But it comes down to social media literacy, right? Because you need to understand that the type of people who comment on things are a very small portion of the population.
Yeah.
And the people who comment on things saying that they're going to boycott you is an even smaller portion.
Yeah.
So it also is just about having some perspective. Yeah. And then with his comment about Brad Paisley coming out to support the vaccine and speaking out about that, even Brad Paisley knew to craft that narrative in a way that was amenable to the people that listen to his music. Because he said that getting the vaccine is the most patriotic thing that you can do as an American.
That was as dystopian as you can imagine. It's like, you know what's patriotic? Getting a shot of an untested drug.
That's not the same type of rhetoric that you were hearing, though, from a lot of other entertainers in regard to promoting the vaccine.
I guess, look.
So he knew that he needed to pander to a very specific group of people.
John Rich is an extremely talented dude, and he's an extremely outspoken dude, but very, very few people choose the extremely outspoken route. Even when we talk about, and we're going to talk about it when we discuss the inauguration stuff. Look, it's a lot of Hollywood, but it gets whittled down to like the same ones every time. It's Mark Hamill. It's who else? It's Mark Hamill,
Stephen
King. It's the same people every time. Rob Reiner, Mark Ruffalo. It's the same people. Only a certain amount of people choose to really, really speak out. But when you choose to be extremely outspoken, whether it's left or right, you're then going to kind of shrink your audience. When you're extremely outspoken about left-wing beliefs, it does not shrink your audience as much as it risks doing it when you're extremely outspoken about right-wing beliefs. Now, is that fair or good? No, not really. I guess not. But fair or good doesn't really factor into it. What factors into it is people have to have an opinion on what they think that their career path is going to be. He's a very successful dude. He understands that. And a lot of artists, they don't care enough about politics outside of maybe, when you're having beers with the bros talking about who you support or who you like. That doesn't mean that they want to get out and talk about it all the time on Twitter or make it part of their brand.
There's nothing morally compromised about recognizing that something or speaking about a certain issue isn't your calling.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time with all of these issues, I just like, there's a 1,000 things a day that I see on Twitter where I'm like, look, I don't know enough about that. I could certainly come up with something funny about it, but that doesn't mean I'm right. So why would I have anything to say about it?
We have a 20 from Carnell. Why is it that outspoken voices tend to downtalk others for jumping onto a bandwagon later, but all the same outspoken voices want to call forth for people to jump on their collective side when they plead others to? Wait, I'm having a hard time
The
understanding.
second part is confusing me. I feel very dumb right now.
I feel really dumb right now, too. They talk down to others for jumping onto a bandwagon, but... Okay, so it's like hypocritical that they're talking down on the people on the opposite bandwagon, but they're talking down to other people for not joining their bandwagon.
Yeah.
And there is a bit of a Trump bandwagon, if we're being completely honest. Some people who would have never joined the Trump movement.
Does that make them hipsters?
Because it's frankly trendy to do so right now.
Yep.
And also way lower stakes than it would have been in 2016 or
Way
even
lower stakes.
2020 as well. Travis Tritt responded to John Rich's video and he said, "I'm so glad to hear someone finally talk about this. If you're a Trump supporter in our industry, you have nothing to fear but fear itself. Don't be afraid to speak up for what you believe in."
I guess
this
that
is
makes
kind of the tunnel vision that's being demonstrated here. A lot of people who don't speak out are not staying silent out of fear. They're staying silent out of pure disinterest in getting involved.
Or business sense, right?
Or business,
like there is nothing
but
wrong
for the
with
most part, I'm guessing if they really felt strongly about it, they would say something.
Yeah.
If you're just disinterested in the political arena, I don't hold it against you for not speaking out and being a pundit. Your talents are probably better used in music anyway, if you're a musician, right? And it's nothing too groundbreaking anymore to come out as a Trump supporter.
Yep.
Maybe that would have been groundbreaking and a historic moment if you did that like 8 years ago. But that time has passed.
Yep. Yeah, I just, it's interesting, but I really don't see an issue with an artist choosing not to speak out. Like, again, if you know that they are, that's because they told you that in confidence and it's their private life and they're allowed to have that private life. There's nothing wrong with that. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.